Look, I know there's all the devices in the world these days. Chisel and snatch your face. Nothing quite compares to the humble and effective ice cube. I'll just stand here and draw in cheekbones. You know what I mean? Only the best vibes for my audience. Bought it while I was in New York. It's Palo Santo, cardamom, and sandalwood, and it is smells like spiritual fuckboy fresh out of the shower. I also got this smoothing brush while I was away. It was $5 in Walgreens, and it is the best slicky smoothing coarse brush that I've used, and it cost me $5. Yeah, the cheapy one has kind of trumped them. If you're new here, I'm Tara. I know a lot of you are probably expecting a New York City vlog, but surprise, there isn't one. Well, not quite exactly. This is definitely a New York trip themed video. Didn't vlog on my camera once. I was just able to completely like unwind and spend quality time with friends, go to all my favorite places. If you love New York though, or you're just always looking for recommendations for when you're going to be going next, stay tuned, because I'm gonna share them. I'm gonna take you through my trip in sort of almost like a written diary. I've been back a few days, I've unpacked, I've even put the couch cover on the couch because I got back, and I don't know if it was just staying in somebody's apartment. I was staying in a friend's apartment, by the way. It was like fully furnished and really done. Came home and really realized how unfinished this space feels, and it kind of just gave me the push to start to get things moving again. But now that it's on, I kind of love it. I think it's a lot softer with the tone of the wooden floor and the rug. I don't know, I feel like coming back, I just have a fresh set of eyes on everything, fresh perspective on my life, on my interiors, on what I want to do, sort through my thoughts on how I want to move forward in the second half of the year. I think it was really lovely, and it was also the 8/8 Lionsgate portal while I was there. We actually flew home on that day, which is just one of many synchronicities that I had on my trip. Ready to be back, ready to get into new routines, even thinking about signing up to the gym for the first time in 2 years. I just feel like I've come back on a fresh slate, brand new beat. And even today when I was getting ready and I was icing my face, I was like, oh my God, this feels so amazing. And to be honest with you, since getting back to Ireland, I felt kind of crappy, like partially maybe post-holiday blues, but like energetically, I just haven't had the same get up and go that I had while I was on holiday. And I was kind of thinking about it and trying to figure out like what in my routine was missing. And thinking back in New York, I was icing my face every single day. Now I've just decided that that might just have to be a part of my like almost daily grounding practice. I don't connect with, I guess, the element of water too often, and I think there's something about it that really rejuvenates my spirit in the morning. Actually, I'm more of an airy earth element kind of gal, but yeah, obviously it's good for depuffing your face and all of that. I was doing it every day in New York because post-COVID I still have a bit of an eye allergy. Now it's not as bad as my Frankenstein era. What causes it for me is washing detergent and like fragrance in laundry detergent and the chemicals and like the American laundry detergent. Like even when I'm home now, I use like free and clear detergent on everything, like extra sensitive stuff. My eyes definitely don't swell up as bad as they used to. I feel like it's kind of been phasing out. I'm always reminded of it when I like stay in a hotel or someone else's house and my eyes puff up. I don't even know why I filmed that this morning. I was just trying to get going and get back in the swing of things, but it really just clicked in that moment that so I had to go and slick back the hair, because I don't know about you, when I get my hair out of my face like this, I feel like I can think clearer. Like it snatches my thoughts more than anything. I feel like hair is just like an energy antenna, and I've got plenty of it, and I don't know, getting it back out of my face seems to help. So yes, if you're new, I make everything a little spiritual and a little, I guess, reflective general, but also on the trip I was just extra in my feels. For those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, a week before I left for New York, a lot of you may know already, like my dad has had a really tough health struggle the last 20 years, but especially the last year. It's been like super hard in our family, but he took a turn 5 days in the hospital on a trolley. And God bless the nurses and the doctors we met. They were so nice, and it was definitely one of the better experiences I've had in the hospital. A little less traumatic, still traumatic. I slept there I think 2 of the nights, and yeah, the whole thing just added a new scary chapter. But in my dad's classic spirit, he can be on his deathbed 1 minute and then be absolutely fine another day. So thankfully he was well enough for me to be able to go on the trip, which is another epiphany I had on the trip too, is that like death and grief is something that I definitely want to make more space for in my content, but not today. Let's start with this big bag of crap that I brought back. Now, to be fair, my ass didn't darken the door of a retail store. Neither of us really went shopping or bought anything while we were in New York, which is really refreshing. I knew I was preemptively going. There was a few things in like the weeks and months leading up that I had ordered and sent to my kind of like secure mail place. I love my mail lady. She keeps everything safe for me. She's honestly like a family member at this point. So there's stuff that I had waiting for me, which is what I'll go through now. And then I'll kind of get into how the trip went, what I did, my recommendations, and like things that I picked up in some of those places. I think it'll be fun. Let me tell you, there's a random assortment. I scored the vintage find of all time, but I will leave that to last. TikTok shop got me. I got an ice roller, so I feel like that was timed quite well now that I want to do this every day. It's one of these like molds you fill up, but I think I'm going to put rose water in it. I wash my face in the morning with rose water. I have quite dry skin, and I find that when you don't strip your skin in the morning, just better. Like TikTok shop got me bad. I got this like vitamin holder. $2, couldn't resist. Oh, I got new nipple covers. I really needed new ones, and the Cakes Body by Cakes Body one are supposed to be superior, so we'll see about that. Lumify eye drops. Me and my boyfriend kind of like not got addicted to these. I tell you, if you're hungover or you're just like you haven't gotten much sleep, like when you first put them in, you can almost see the kind of greeny blue tint it gives the whites of your eyes, and it just makes them look very bright. Oh, I got my favorite natural deodorant. Now I am going to dig back to my Vancouver iPhone footage because I did do a whole video on all of the natural deodorants that I've tried. I've tried like all the well-known ones, I think. In the end, the one that I have been using for the last year and the one that I feel like works the best. Never really seen anyone talk about it. Spoiler alert for that video, my favorite natural deodorant is this one, the Toops Organic one. It's a beef tallow natural deodorant. It's the extra strength one that they do, and my favorite scent is the lime and bergamot. I feel like it's like a nice fresh kind of almost unisex scent. Did get the balsam fir and cedarwood one just to try, but I don't know, I think that's just like a little bit too green for me. I should have known, but I just wanted to try something new. But yeah, this one was recommended to me in my DMs by a nurse who works like 12-hour shifts. Thank you, because this is the only deodorant that really converted me fully to being able to use natural deodorants. All the other ones were just like smelly bams, and you definitely still smell your sweat, or they were very irritating. But this one has just the right blend for me of like the baking soda element and scent and things that aren't irritating, and more importantly, I can actually get through the day without smelling. Incredible value for money. That's why I bought a few of them, because one of these tubes lasts me 6 months. Stitchy off of TikTok shop, except I didn't realize I got a knockoff one. The idea is there's like a tiny little needle, and you have all of these little fasteners that you thread through, and you can make very quick tack alterations to your clothing, like hems, straps, things like that, which I always need. I actually really need to look into getting a new sewing machine, because the one I had when I was 10 shockingly does not thread anymore. Eyewear travel crystals. What did I pack? I cannot recommend bringing a little baggie of good luck travel crystals with you. I keep all of my little collection by the window here, so that they're always charged up. But I pick new ones each trip, and I tend to always bring this one. I think it's obsidian. It was good for protection. Clear quartz came this time, a carnelian, an amethyst, some of these were gifted, and a rosary bead from my mommy. I've been doing this for a few years, and I've never had like a late flight or luggage or a missed flight. Basically, travel has been going so well anytime I've packed these that I'm now very superstitious and I have to bring them. I got all of these. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I always wear these 90s dead stock sunglasses that I get from Etsy, specifically these ones in black and brown. I don't know what it is, they just fit my face so well. I feel like they have the look of a lot more replica versions that higher end brands are doing and charging like 400 quid for them, and these were $10 each. Dead stock is just vintage stuff that has never been sold. I made a video about this Etsy seller about maybe 2 years ago, and since then the price has increased threefold. So these were once a tenner. I noticed that they're now $30, but I want to support the seller. She's really great and I've bought from her multiple times. Thankfully, anytime I've needed to replace these, she always has them. And look, I just believe in not spending a ton on sunglasses. I just think you're always going to lose them, scratch them, drop them. Absolutely spoiled me. She sent me 4 different pairs. I don't know if it's the frames she picks or the 90s in general, but every single one of these frames suit me, and I'm not someone who can just buy any pair of sunglasses. Like, I don't have a face or even a head shape. Like, I have quite a small little pea head, as I've been told by people. I didn't know I did, but I guess I did. Hats are always too big, sunglasses are never quite right on me. All of these frames that she sells, they are like made for me. Like a bigger lens, but like so sleek, so chic. I'm just fully embracing my weird at this point. I bought dowsing rods. Has anyone ever stumbled across that dowsing rod lady on TikTok and YouTube? I think her name is like Solar Glow Meditations, but she just asks questions. Like, people just send her questions. She says that she has like a list of 16,000 and odd questions that people have sent in, and she just sits there and asks the yes or no questions. Yes, maybe we can get some yes or no questions going on these soon. Will not be coming for that girl's brand though. TikTok shop eyeshadow by Adriana Nicole Cosmetics. Cause like I've always wanted to have one of these. Whoa, that was a lot softer than I thought it was gonna be. Swatchy swatch. Oh, I know I don't wear these colors every day, but on a night out, a glittery eyeshadow hates to see me coming. On to my last find. The Real distribution system finally arrived at my door. If you don't know, like, the Real is kind of like the Vestiaire collective, or I don't know, not Vinted. It's kind of nicer than Vinted. Please get their vintage, secondhand, honestly steals, because they've had a lot of controversy around them in the past, where there is a possibility that you'll either get a fake item or like you'll sell something with them, they'll sell it at like a fraction of the true value of the item. Sold on the Real a ton. I've had good sales, I've had sales where I made an absolute pittance. Once you send it to them, it's very hard to get your item back, and it's just kind of luck of the draw. However, sometimes you can really get a gem, and not that I manifested it. I was doing that like fashion interview in Dublin recently for a publication. They asked me, you know, like, what do you have your eye on? Thierry Mugler was like my ultimate fashion inspiration. Maybe like 4 or 5 months back, I saw that they had some great Mugler pieces. I talked about this cart. I was like, yeah, there's like, I don't spend a lot of money on designer stuff. It's not something I invest in personally, but I do have some cute Mugler things in my Real cart. You know, one day, all of those bad sales that I made on the Real finally have come back around and paid me my dues. Like, look at the label. It's so ancient. I'm obsessed. Tailoring the silk fabric with the tiny little slugs plucked out. Like a ceramic button, it's so heavy. I will show a little clip of me trying on this blazer, but it is just phenomenal. It is the difference between something you get on the high street that you can tell has no true tailoring, and when you compare it to something like this that feels like tailoring art, like every single panel is contoured to the body. It's just, oh, I can't believe I own it. I can't believe it fits. It says it's a size 40. Most beautiful, almost petal-like boat neck situation going on. It honestly feels like it was made for me. Oh, it's just the score of the century. I don't know what else to say. I think originally when it was in my cart, it was like $550, which I wouldn't have spent. You know, maybe if I was like dripping in money, I would have got it for myself. When I got to New York, I like checked the cart real quick. Lo and behold, it was reduced to like $200. It's true love, you just know. Also, you did see me wearing these already, but I got the square-toed Havaianas. J'adore, love. A few more things, but I think it makes the most sense to kind of just kick off with the trip itself and like what we got up to. So shout out to our sponsors Squarespace, who bring you these videos Google ad interruption free. You are in the need of a website, just decided it's time to have your slice of the internet. Squarespace is the platform where you'll find it. The most exquisite range of templates, so whether you just need somewhere where people can find you, find your information, or something a bit more elaborate like a blog or an e-commerce online store, they have you covered. With the new AI technology that they've added lately, designing a website could not be any easier. Squarespace really is made for a beginner novice. I've done it myself, but if you do need any help, their 24/7 support team is always on hand. What I love about Squarespace is there's multiple ways where you can monetize the content you put on there. They have subscriptions, they have exclusive memberships. You can design and sell your merch through them. I talk about them all the time, but there is like a particular entrepreneurial, creative sort of energy in the air right now. It's your time, then the link is in the top line of the description. Squarespace.com/Tarmar for a free 2-week trial. Play around, see how you feel about it, and if you do like it and you want to go live, the code Tarmar will get you 10% off all your future billing. My camera roll as like a visual reminder of how the trip started. Kelsey's wedding. I have very few like American friends, but yeah, me and Kelsey vacationed together after knowing each other a few weeks, and it really kind of solidified our friendship. In New York, we got the train to Albany. We rented a little car to the cute little town in Vermont. The wedding itself was in Manchester. So down to start the trip on basically a road trip. It's kind of like the flip of what the Irish weddings are at the moment. We meet the night before, we mingled, we had cocktails. I wore the red Aligne co-ord, which was perfect. Mingling drinks the day before, and all of the strangers warmed up to each other and like got familiar faces and little conversations going before the wedding itself. The whole day was stunning. The house was like the Lincoln family home. It was very Bridgerton, very beautiful. Now Kelsey loves color. She encouraged wearing color. She's not afraid of color or like breaking the rules. So I wanted my dress to be very appropriate for the venue, and at the same time I wanted to have fun with it. So I'm a bit sentimental. I wore the red the day before. I always wears red on her nails for her wedding day, so I wore red the night before, and I wore these green shoes, which kind of reminded me of this really bright green that Kelsey is known for wearing. It's like her thing. Meadows and grass I knew would not be a vibe, so the block heel was perfect. They were comfortable. Like the green just lifted the pink. Like obviously the pink itself is a very classy, gorgeous, timeless outfit. I wanted it to be fresh and youthful. I mean, Kelsey looked absolutely stunning. Like the whole day was stunning. We had a wonderful weekend. We were so well taken care of. I did not know what to expect with an American wedding, and we had an absolute blast. Also, it was the first time I saw my boyfriend in a suit, specifically a tux, and girls. Thank you, Kelsey and Jared, for a fabulous experience. Also, another thing I loved was that the actual day of the wedding itself wasn't till like 5:30, and we weren't picked up till maybe like 4:20. So we had the whole day to basically explore the little town we were in. I don't know, I loved the sequence of the entire wedding. But we hit up the antique shop and I found this beauty, this absolutely gorgeous, heavy AF. It's honestly, it weighs about a kilo. I can't believe we took this home. Picture frame. Kelsey's wedding, they had a photo booth. There's a cute little picture of me in there. I still have to wipe off the sticker grime. $6. We love a little small town antique find. Back to New York, where we were staying in Williamsburg. I was actually renting from my like online friend Kaylee Mann. I don't know if you guys follow her on YouTube. She has her own YouTube channel. Yeah, a very different experience to living in Bushwick. I thought I was going to be spending so much time in Bushwick. Way busier, way more bustly. And I ended up having a very different experience in New York than I thought I was going to have, but it was great. Like, it was so easy for us to meet friends, whether it be in the city or in Williamsburg. It was easy to nip and bop around, walk places. Looking over these photos, it's all coming back to me now, but I did a collab with La Cantine, the cafe, like my old neighborhood cafe, which I love. Obviously I promoted that place a lot while I lived in the neighborhood because I wanted, you know, I would like local businesses to do well. She was straight in there and she was like, we need to do a collab, like let's figure something out. So that's what we did. So just for fun, we basically collabed on my own sandwich at La Cantine. And if you've ever been, or you're from the neighborhood or anything like that, like it was a cultural reset for me. We ordered like 80 bags of Tato crisps and we basically made a chicken cutlet crisp sandwich. A lot of places that we went on our holiday were places that I regretted not making time for the whole time I was in New York. So the Noguchi is in Queens, and I'm so happy that I prioritized going there. It was so nice, such a nice place to go and enjoy like a retrospective of his art and some of the concepts behind it, and they have a really gorgeous store. When it comes to an exhibition or art museum gift shop, I am all over it, and this one was particularly good. We actually bought a few things, and we bought one of their classic lamps, which I'm going to put together after this video. Most delightful place to spend an hour or two. They even have like seats you can sit on, you can bring a sketchbook. Even architecturally, the building itself was so full of these like gorgeous shapes and light and shadow. It was a Libra girl's dream, what can I say? Also, very stimulating place to be. Philip Williams posters, another place that I was meaning to go for years. I would always pass it when it was closed. So I made a big effort walking in like a torrential rainstorm to go there, and it was just a color explosion. I think it actually really inspired me color wise for coming back and seeing how like plain our house still is. Another alternative day idea was going to get our auras read. This is also something that was like on my list. There's a very specific well-known place, there's two of them actually, it's like the same company, but there's two branches of Magic Jewelry. I went to the one on 108 Canal Street, and it was so much fun. Initially we just went there to get the aura photos taken because I wanted to see my boyfriends more than anything. Extra $10, you can have someone there like read your aura. There's two ladies there, and we were there for a while, and I kind of sussed that the lady we got was a natural at it. She was so gifted. She read us like a book up and down, I'm not gonna lie. My boyfriend had this most stunning rainbow-esque aura, and the way Angela explained it was the left-hand side of the photo is like the previous 10 days, and the right-hand side is kind of the energy you have coming up for like the next 10 days. So she looked at his, she was like, I don't see this pattern very often, and I can tell he's a good man, a very nice man. I know I bagged a gorgeous soul. 2 years ago when I had gotten it done, I photographed with like mostly a red aura. But this time I also had a lot of purple sort of around on the outside, and also like just in my heart area, which I thought was kind of cool. When your photo done, you sort of sit in this seat with little metal electromagnetic readers. Yeah, the first thing she noticed about mine was kind of in this area here, you'll see it's very clear, and she said clear is good. Clear is as good as having lots of color there. What's not good is when it's sort of murky. But obviously in my last video, I kind of explained my unexpected sort of emotional and kind of spiritual purge that I got from trying like a mini candida cleanse. The first point she made to me was like, have you done anything with your diet? Have you changed the way you eat? That's why it's all clear here. Your vessel is like very energetically cleansed. Obviously it could be a coincidence, but I think it's interesting given the main thing I took away from trying that little mini cleanse was this sort of emotional experience. I think you can see it in the photo, but there was a little bit of yellow in my aura as well, and she was like, oh, this is kind of like your leadership, big sister energy. Oh, she said, Instagrammer or YouTuber kind of energy. People feel comfortable and safe around my energy. And with like a big sister, you got me. And the red, she said, is for practicality, stability, very much grounded and able to push forward and get things done in sort of the 3D. And that the purple and magenta is the intuition side of things. I think the purple and magentas, she said, are connected to the crown chakra. She really picked up on living a very intuitive life because that color was in my heart area as well, that my heart is operating with this third eye crown chakra energy, and that I can interpret information or read things from a broader universal energy attuned with the universal flow. And she also said I had a little pink in there, which was like a very loving energy. It's editing, Tara. There's actually so many things that I didn't include due to time or that I forgot. Number one being that I got a fantastic haircut, which I did not get to show you with this haircut by Lily, because Shara wasn't there, and Lily used to cut my hair and I love her too, at Bumble and Bumble. Jennifer Aniston inspo pic. She took me from this to something very, very fresh and much more manageable. Secondly, the video is getting kind of long, so if you want to see all of my foodie spots recommendation, I pretty much summed them all up in an Instagram reel and a TikTok. It kind of went down like super well. I think both have like 5,000 saves, so I feel like I did my due diligence. We're running out of time. Anyway, I will link it down below. My girl Gina came through and delivered the most amazing lash lift. Also, this vein, oh, ruins my life. It looks like I've got a fox thread or something. Oh, how could I forget? I had my yearly psychic reading with actually a good friend of mine who I know for almost 10 years. 8 years ago, I got her on my channel to talk what it's like about being a psychic medium, and she also like gave me readings, gave me predictions at the time. I think the future is subject to change, and I think that psychics can only read like where you're at right now. But Christine is good at what she does. She's a professional, and funny enough, I've noticed that around this time of year is when I book these kind of things. It's not something you want to do like too much of, like too much opinions from the outside can be bad also. I find that halfway through the year, it's good for me to have like a little confidence boost. Usually, you know, we talked about projects I want to do and stuff that I'm working on. Anytime I do things like that, I make sure that mentally I'm neutral and that I'm not in any state of panic or worry. You have to be very careful of who you work with in that space. I'm home with a new perspective on how I want to go about things and how I want to spend my time. I think before I went on the trip and this last few months, like since I've been back February 1st back in Ireland, to a degree it's just been a lot. Like it's a huge life change, and sometimes you're just like surviving it, but also, you know, everything with my dad, his illness, you know, my mom, and how it's affected us as a family. It's been heavy, and I think coming back, I've just accepted that it's always probably going to be this way and life is going to keep lifing, and I understood that already, but now I'm ready to not let that get in the way of, you know, the self-care things I want to do, having time to go to the gym, pushing forward and giving time to projects that I feel like I'm here to accomplish. I guess not let it affect my aspirations, and just do what I need to do to create the energy that I need to be there for them, be there for myself, and be there for my aspirations. I think that's a good place to end things. I had exactly the kind of break that I needed to have. So if you've been tuning into these videos and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? You're gonna miss one. I will leave my face around here so you can easily subscribe or check out some of my recent videos. See you all again very soon. Mwah. Bye.